Already in like Spain, they say you can't turn your air conditioning below. There goes another cat. Oh, 2 cats. There's tons of cats. You can't turn it below, I think it's 27 or 30 centigrade, which is like really hot. Like you'll be sweating. That's basically what it is here in Acapulco today, outside. And yeah, so the government's like, you can have air conditioning, but not to make it comfortably cool in your house. Oh, this is gonna get nuts. I'm looking forward to it. I got like solar panels. We actually use zero energy except for from the solar panels here in Acapulco. Our entire roof is covered in solar panels. So even if the grid goes down, even anything happens, we still got power. It's gonna be the same at my ranch. We're already installing it all. But in the UK, they're bracing for blackouts and gas cuts in January in emergency plan. A reasonable worst case scenario envisages 4-day power shortfall. Industry and households could face planned power outages. Yeah, you know when the government's saying, yeah, it could be like 4 days this winter where you don't have power. How do you know that, first of all? Like, they seem to know everything. It's because it's all planned. But I'll tell you one thing, when the government says 4 days, expect 40. I'd say 400 days a year, but there isn't that many days, but it'll eventually get there. It's going to be brutal, just totally brutal. Even in Finland, they may close stores to conserve power this winter. Grocery stores in Finland could have to take turns closing for hours at a time to reduce their energy usage this winter. And with fuel shortages expected, Finnish households will also be told to lower the consumption. Just gotta close your store a few hours a day because there's no energy. But there is lots of energy. Yeah, but a lot of it comes from Russia. And you know, they're so terrible, we can't take their energy and use it. Oh, okay. Well, enjoy basically living without energy in the future. And that's really what's going on. They even shut down the nuclear reactor. France only had one thing going for it, because Germany shut down all their nuclear reactors because of, you know, green energy, when nuclear is actually the greenest energy source pretty much out there when you take in all factors into consideration. But what they really want is no one to have power. They want everyone to be poor or dead. That's what they want. And so they shut down the nuclear reactors in France. It was the only thing they had going for them. They hadn't shut them down yet, but they shut them down recently, and they said it's because of climate change. It's getting too hot to run them. Those things run at thousands of degrees. And they're like, well, it was like 2 centigrade higher than it normally would in the summer this summer. So it was a little too hot. We had to shut them off. Yeah. Satan got us, you sneaky devil. Meanwhile, in Germany, like, it's getting so bad that one of the biggest searched items in Germany right now, it's 2022, and this is one of the biggest searched items in Germany. Firewood. Yeah, not surprisingly, between 2004 and 2021, really not many people searched for the term firewood. It just wasn't a big need or want of many people. Now everyone's like, well, how are we going to keep our house warm this winter? Everyone's like, I guess we'll need to use firewood. And of course, the government's saying you can't. Oh man, this is the summer right now. So yeah, they're saying you can't use your air conditioning. So you're definitely going to be uncomfortable. But when it gets down to like minus 20 in places like Germany or France or wherever in the winter, and people don't have power, and that's coming. And I actually mentioned in the newsletter too that the grand solar minimum, which people like Adapt 2030 and Ice Age Farmer talk about, they're both on vigilantetv, by the way, as is my personal videos, as is TDV videos. Vigilantetv is definitely one of the best places to get all our videos, all the best videos. They've talked for years about this, and I was always like, it's very interesting. I know this man-made global warming thing's a scam, and I've just generally kind of looked into the climate change, and actually it's been getting cooler. But they've been saying for years, yeah, it's going to get cooler. It's a very well-known effect. It's called the grand solar minimum. The sun goes in cycles. You know, the sun is probably the most important thing about if it's hot or not, right? I don't know, maybe I'm not scientific enough. I don't think it has to do with cow farts or if you have an SUV. And it's very well known that it goes through cycles. And these guys know, because it's quite well known, that we're headed into basically not quite an ice age, but it's going to get dramatically cooler. So cool that it's going to change the world dramatically. And I think the globalists know this. So they're trying to do all these things that say it's caused by humans, and then basically try to kill everyone and put them into camps and give you your carbon scores and all that, so you can't do anything. But it's not because of that things are getting really changing a lot. It's because of a very well-known thing called the grand solar minimum, which going into the next few years, they say it's going to dramatically cool the Earth. And they say places like Canada, you won't be able to grow hardly anything. Nothing you could normally grow will you be able to grow. It'll be that much colder, even in the northern US. And so this is going to add dramatically to all these famines. And I think a lot of people don't even know about that. So if you don't know about it, look into it, especially if you're living in Canada, you're like, I'll be fine, I've got a farm. Well, you might want to know what to do if it gets a lot cooler. But these things have dramatic effects on everything. It's actually causing droughts in lots of places. Of course, the government controls the weather in a lot of places. They're doing it on purpose, but also it's just naturally happening. There's going to be a lot of shifts in things. And some of those things is causing dramatic water shortages all over the world now. Like the Rhine River in Germany. It's a major river, and there's tons of cargo shipped on it. It dried up. It's like there's nothing there now. There's even a lake in the US, I think it's Mead or something. It's almost completely dried up, and that's like a major source of water. I even heard in northern Mexico, in Monterrey, they basically don't have water anymore. So you can actually get machines, by the way, that you can hook up to your solar panels, and in a place like Acapulco where it's humid, it'll just take water out of the air. So we've got some of those. I'm going to have that at the ranch as well. But there's going to be just dramatic changes going on. And it's going to affect all the supply chains and food and everything. And I saw this, I don't know if this is true, but if it is true, it's really interesting and really timely. The recent droughts in Europe once again made visible the hunger stones in some Czech and German rivers. These stones were used to mark desperately low river levels that would forecast famines. This one in the Elbe River is from 1616 and says, "If you see me, cry." Yeah, very interesting times. Definitely get our newsletter. Like, I wrote all about this, and it gives tons of good advice on what to do, what you should be doing. It's $15 a month. Because I don't put, 90% of my good information I don't put in these videos because people pay us for it. And we have a ton of people working on getting you all this information, but it just costs $15 a month. A little bit more than that, actually. And it's probably going up, but everything is. Just go to dollarvigilante.com/subscribe. But speaking of solar panels, which are great, but what these globalists are kind of saying is they want everyone just to have solar panels, and they want to shut down all the coal plants, they want to shut down the nuclear reactors. But solar has a number of issues. For one, I don't know if you know this, but for about half the day every day, there is no sun. So for half the day every day, you don't have any energy. But they're like, that's fine. We got to save the earth. And they're trying to get everyone on electric cars, but now they're like, please don't charge your cars because there's no energy. It's like, okay, this is really working out well. And they've had, it's summertime, so it gets hot sometimes. Like this shouldn't be breaking news, but they're, just trying to pump it out. Oh, it's so hot this summer. Yeah, every summer there's a few days where it's really hot. But did you know when it's quite hot out, the solar panels basically stop working? Why solar power is failing amid record-breaking heat? Yeah, apparently every degree it gets above like 25 Celsius, it goes down dramatically. So if you get up to like 40 or something, it's like barely works, which is kind of funny, not really for the person who has them, who needs the energy, but that solar panels don't really work if it's quite hot. You wouldn't think that'd be the case, but that actually is the case. But don't worry. It's all just climate change. It's all caused by us. We just need to tax everyone more, and then the government will fix the weather, right?